And by the 2000s, the hardcore music gets diluted as well. So the best example I always give for that, you know what I mean, is when you have what's his name? Big Pun. Best example. Big Pun debut record, Capital Punishment, 1998, the last year of golden era music, because you had Gangstar's Moment of Truth, Outkast, Aquemini, Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the massive wave of Wu-Tang that I was just mentioning, right? Bobby Digital, all that, right? You got to put all that in there, which includes Killer Priest, Heavy Mental. These are must-have records. You got to have that record. If you don't, your collection sucks. Your collection sucks. Just call 1998 and cash out for 1998. You know what I mean? But you know, it's like having a 1959 jazz album collection. You don't have Kinda Blue. You don't have Sketches of Spain. What are you doing? You know what I mean? You know, you failed 1959. You know, but if in that year 1998 you also had Big Pun's Capital Punishment. By the way, I'm that guy that, you know, I do choose when they do the Pun versus Big battle. I always choose Pun over Big. He was more talented. He had more skills. You know what I mean? I think it's unfair in a way, though, to compare, because I think that there was more freedom for Pun to make music than it was for Biggie. You know what I mean? I don't think that Biggie was an environment to make music. Just because you listen to Ready to Die or Life After Death and you hear a diverse record, you're hearing a complete pop record. You're not hearing an MC able to talk about whatever he wants or being forced to talk about all types of things. So we don't know what depth Biggie would have had. I think that's unfair, you know, on that part. But the reason I bring up Biggie with Big Pun is that Capital Punishment literally is Ready to Die 3000. You know what I mean? If you took the entire formula of Ready to Die and augmented it with steroids, you know, it's like Barry Bonds' Ready to Die. You know what I mean? Like, it's got everything. It's done more precisely, crisply. The commercial songs don't seem as commercial. You know what I mean? And I personally always felt that Pun was a much more comfortable MC in the commercial limelight. And that's because I feel like he was more comical, more charismatic. You know what I mean? He was willing to break convention. But again, that's unfair because I don't know where Pun would have went with things, you know? And then we don't know where Biggie or Pun would have went with things. We're only comparing certain things. But that's a fact that this is Ready to Die, you know, on steroids. But it's a hip hop record. Hard beats, hard drums. The posthumous record after his death, Yeeeah Baby. Listen to that record and see what the beats are. You don't hear the drums as sharp as like the Domingo drums. You don't see them pop through the speaker. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear any kind of filtering at all. Like, you don't hear anything filtered. In fact, you hear the treble levels go up, and so the massive bass levels are scattered out. An album that I would say I first hear that sloppiness like that. This is blasphemy. I'm going to get into blasphemy, though, for some people. Is Nas's It Was Written. Right? Compared to Illmatic. You got to compare. You give me a quality speaker, not this crap. Don't play It Was Written on this, you know? Don't play it on in your phone and be like, yeah, it bumps on this iPhone, you know? Play it on massive speakers to its highest peak. Because remember, it's not loud until it goes to 10. You know what I'm saying? Until it's nearly breaking. You know, like how the levels, every speaker I had, the level was 10, and I would always go 9.9, and I'd be like, I'm saving my speaker from death because I respected it to put it at 9.9. And of course, my speakers would die anyway, right? And you wonder why they would go, right? After a while, and you're like, you know, speaker's weak. You didn't deserve me. But It Was Written shrills. It shrills compared to Illmatic. But we fast forward to Yeeeah Baby, and we could see a higher treble level. That's one of the innovations of Swizz Beatz, and also Pharrell. You know what I mean? Where they make anthems, but they're totally trebled out. You know what I mean? And the science of making a radio hit. You know, the science of making a radio hit has always been how to alter the equalizing. You know what I mean? Watch that Motown documentary on Showtime, Hitsville. They tell you. You know what I mean? The difference was that in their formula, because the music of Motown isn't like a hip hop production. It doesn't crowd the whole. It doesn't crowd everything. So let's say like your ears have a whole cipher, a whole, let's say, more imaginary circle around you to hear things. So you hear things distant, you hear things close. Like that would be like the difference between stereo, mono, and things like that, right? The Motown track doesn't have those effects. They're not drowning things out. It's not early hard rock. It's not a Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean? So their hard drums can snap through. And because they were jazz musicians, they knew how to space tracks. So when they popped out some of the drums or diluted certain aspects, you still saw a quality of musicianship, because these are really quality musicians. They just knew how to play. You know what I mean? And again, it wasn't a digital era. It's still live music. You know what I mean? In the studio. But listen to Swizz Beatz, you know, it was prime for tinny speakers, you know what I mean? A tinny sound, you know what I mean? It's like boom bap for, you know, girls, like boom bap for little girls, you know what I mean? And then now you could do pop hits with a hard beat, you know, and have Ja Rule sing, baby, baby. I'm gonna get these, baby. This is it. And don't tell me it wasn't the dark ages, though. I wasn't hearing hard music out there. I was hearing Ja Rule. The Hardest Brothers were playing Ja Rule sing-along songs. You know what I mean? It was like a gutter Sesame Street out there. You know what I mean? All the good music, and we had to dig heavily. We had to dig heavily in the underground. And then you wonder why the beginning of Ninth Wonder's career blew up, and his best music in the beginning of his career is completely revivalist. You know what I mean? Most of Ninth Wonder's early stuff is Pete Rock / Primo stuff, done extremely well, but completely, almost, not all the way, but very derivative. The only thing that he had for him was that, which you knew he was going to be dope, was he had crates. You know what I'm saying? Crates.